Unlocking the world in a cup. The epic history of coffee. Ever wonder about the incredible journey of your morning coffee? It's more than just a caffeine kick. From ancient Ethiopian highlands to your favorite mug, coffee's story is packed with legends, revolutions, and global connections. Get ready to discover how this humble bean conquered the world, one sip at a time. Our tale begins in 9th century Ethiopia with a legendary goat herder named Kaldi. The story goes that Kaldi noticed his goats were extra energetic after munching on some bright red berries. Intrigued, he tried them himself and felt the invigorating buzz. Whether legend or fact, Ethiopia is undoubtedly coffee's birthplace. Coffee isn't just a drink there. It's a deeply ingrained cultural experience. The traditional Ethiopian coffee ceremony is an elaborate display of hospitality, taking hours to complete. Buna debo na, coffee is our bread, say the Ethiopians. 3 times a day, communities gather for these ceremonies, strengthening bonds, settling disputes, and sharing life over the rich aroma of freshly roasted beans. It's a beautiful tradition that highlights coffee's power to connect. By the 15th century, coffee beans had crossed the Red Sea into Yemen. Sufi monks embraced coffee, finding it helped them stay awake during long nights of prayer and meditation. This marked the beginning of coffee's journey as a brewed beverage. The Arabs called it kawa, a term originally used for wine, highlighting its dark, stimulating nature. Unlike wine, however, coffee was permissible under Islamic law, making it a popular choice. Soon, coffee houses sprang up in Mecca and across the Arab world. These weren't just places to grab a drink. They were hubs of intellectual and social life, earning the nickname schools of the wise. News, poetry, and political discussions flowed as freely as the coffee itself. The Ottoman Empire introduced coffee to Europe, and by the 17th century, Venetian merchants were importing it to Italy. Initially met with suspicion, some even called it Satan's drink, but Pope Clement VIII, after trying it himself, declared it a sin to let only infidels enjoy such a delightful beverage. Coffee houses exploded across Europe. Oxford's first opened in 1650, and London soon boasted hundreds. These establishments became centers of Enlightenment thinking, dubbed penny universities, because a cup of coffee granted access to stimulating conversation and the latest ideas. These coffee houses were revolutionary spaces. Unlike taverns, they fostered sobriety and rational discourse. Lloyd's of London and the London Stock Exchange both originated in coffee houses. Even the American Revolution was partly plotted within the walls of Boston's coffee shops. European powers, eager to break the Arab monopoly, sought to cultivate coffee in their colonies. A French naval officer, Gabriel de Clou, famously smuggled a coffee plant to Martinique in 1723, even sharing his limited water ration with the seedling during the perilous journey. From that single plant, coffee spread throughout the Caribbean and Latin America. The Dutch introduced it to Ceylon and Java. However, these colonial plantations relied heavily on enslaved and indentured labor, creating systems of exploitation with lasting social and economic consequences. By the 18th century, coffee had transformed from a local crop to a global commodity, fueled by plantation agriculture. This shift dramatically altered who benefited from coffee production and who suffered for it. Brazil emerged as the world's dominant coffee producer in the 19th century. After gaining independence in 1822, its economy became heavily reliant on coffee exports. By 1840, Brazil produced 40% of the world's coffee, a position it has largely maintained. Coffee shaped the development of many Latin American nations. In Colombia, it provided an economic foundation for small landholders, fostering a more equitable society. In Costa Rica, coffee export wealth was invested in education and infrastructure, contributing to the country's stability. For these nations, coffee became more than just an export crop. It became part of their national identity. Juan Valdez, the fictional Colombian coffee farmer, remains an internationally recognized symbol of Colombia. The Industrial Revolution transformed coffee from an artisanal product to a mass-market commodity. Innovations in roasting, grinding, packaging, and brewing made coffee more accessible to the working class. The invention of instant coffee in 1901, later commercialized by Nestlé as Nescafé in 1938, revolutionized coffee consumption. During World War II, instant coffee became standard issue for American soldiers, cementing America's coffee culture and spreading it globally. In the post-war era, coffee became a staple in homes. Electric percolators and drip coffee makers became standard appliances, and advertising emphasized coffee's role in the daily routine, especially as a breakfast beverage. The modern specialty coffee movement began in the 1970s and accelerated in the 1980s. Companies like Starbucks reimagined coffee shop culture for the contemporary consumer. Howard Schultz, inspired by Italian espresso bars, transformed Starbucks into a global coffeehouse chain. Since the 1990s, a third-wave coffee movement has emphasized direct trade relationships with farmers, lighter roast profiles to highlight bean origins, and coffee preparation as both craft and science. This has created a new appreciation for coffee's complexity and the skill involved in its production. Coffee is coming full circle. The emphasis on ritual and tasting notes in specialty coffee today echoes how coffee was approached in Ethiopia centuries ago. Now, we have the global infrastructure to connect consumers directly with specific growing regions and even individual farmers. Despite its global popularity, coffee remains an economically precarious crop for many of the 25 million farmers who grow it. Coffee prices fluctuate dramatically, often dropping below production costs. Climate change threatens traditional growing regions, pushing cultivation to higher elevations. In response, certification programs and business models have emerged to ensure more equitable returns to farmers and more sustainable growing practices. From fair trade to direct trade relationships, consumers increasingly want to know the impact of their coffee on people and the planet. Each cup represents not just a beverage, but a worldwide production chain involving farmers, processors, exporters, roasters, retailers, and consumers, all connected by this remarkable seed. Coffee is consumed in countless ways across cultures. Turkish coffee simmered in sezves, Vietnamese coffee dripping slowly through thin filters, Italian espresso knocked back at a bar, and simple diner coffee refilled endlessly. What began in the highlands of Ethiopia now connects people across continents and cultures. The story of coffee is a human story of curiosity, commerce, exploitation, equity, tradition, and innovation. It's a story that continues to evolve with every bean harvested and every cup poured. From its humble origins to its global presence, coffee has been a witness to and catalyst for human connection. In a world of constant change, the ritual of coffee provides a moment of pause, a small but significant pleasure shared by billions. Now it's your turn. Dive deeper into the world of coffee. Support ethical and sustainable brands, explore local coffee shops, and share this incredible story with your fellow coffee lovers. Don't just drink coffee, experience it.